air inside the room was charged with tension, the kind which could make anyone's stomach coil with nervousness. He slammed her against the wall, jaw clenched tight and eyes blazing with rage. He was breathing hard, as if he were trying to sabotage his anger. "The is wrong with you, Jungkook?" she barked. Her eyes narrowed at him in anger as she tried to pry his hands away, but his grip was way too strong. "Why did you embarrass me in front of everyone? I have a reputation that you didn't think twice before ruining." His voice, sharp and relentless, snapped back. His grip tightened on her shoulders, firm enough to show his anger yet gentle enough to not to hurt her. Ryan, ignoring his angry stance, wiggled her shoulders to free herself, but his strength was no match for hers. Besides, the heavy wedding gown only restricted her movements. "I said let go of me, Jungkook, or you'll see my worst." That was clear threat, but Jungkook was blinded by his anger to pay heed to any other thing. He stepped closer, his grip on her shoulders didn't loosen, nor did his gaze waver from her face. Wine inhaled a sharp breath at his sudden move. As if he weren't already so close, she could feel the warmth radiating off his body now. "You yourself agreed to this alliance, right? Nobody forced you, yet you decided to act like your consent wasn't in it." He clenched his jaw, slamming a hand on the wall beside her. But she didn't flinch, didn't cower back, didn't break the eye contact. Instead, she stared at him, gaze boring through his soul. She knew Jungkook was an egoistic bastard and she wouldn't give him the satisfaction he wanted. "Why did you turn your face as if I were forcefully kissing you? There was paparazzi, a hell lot of renowned people, and our families. They were asking if I forced you into it." He scoffed and inched his face closer until his nose brushed against hers. His breath, warm and shallow, ghosted over her lips. Her gaze instinctively dropped to his lips, and for a moment she forgot everything. The world around her faded into nothing. Just Jungkook, her, and the closest existed, but she regained her composure as quickly. "Only if they know how much of his life fox you are. It's not me, but you, Miss Goody Two Shoes, who forced me into this marriage for the sake of business. You are such a—" He halted, eyes furrowing in confusion when he felt something poking into his groin. He looked down, and his eyes enlarged in shock and disbelief. Vine was holding a fork against where his future generation lived. He snapped his head up and found her smirking victoriously. "Let go of me, or else I'll end your future generation right at this moment. Back off." But Jungkook didn't. He glared at her as if that would scare her away. "You wouldn't dare," he gritted out, each syllable carrying a warning. If there were anyone else, they would be shivering in fear, but Vine was built different. "Try me and see it yourself, and trust me, I'll take my sweet time in calling an ambulance." She tilted her head, a devilish glint in her eyes as she pressed the fork more firmly. With a groan, Jungkook loosened his grip and stepped back. Vine twirled the fork between her fingers, taking slow and predatory steps towards him. "Don't you dare to manhandle me, Jungkook, unless—" She trailed off and eyed his crotch. Her smirk widened when Jungkook shifted on his board. Well, she did hit a weak nerve. "And I asked you to marry me. Nicely, I must add. I didn't give you a free pass to kiss me." She spoke, walking past him to dump the fork on the nightstand. But wait, she straightened up and took fast and eager steps towards him. He squinted his eyes when she smiled at him, teasingly. "Were you that desperate, huh, to kiss me? Do you have a crush on me, Jungkook?" Jungkook rolled his eyes. He opened his mouth to retort, but she spoke first. I can't blame you though. I'm pretty. She spoke proudly as if stating the obvious. Oh, to be that confident about oneself like her. Jungkook exhaled loudly, frustration visible on his face. He ran a hand through his hair, his restraint about to break any moment. Get out. I'm done with you. Go and sleep in the guest room and let me have some moments of peace. He simply pointed at the door, tired and stressed from a long day. Why? I don't want to go. I want to sleep here with you. She hopped on the bed, determined not to leave. Jungkook stared at her a moment longer. He looked like an exhausted mother who hadn't slept for days. He contemplated for a while whether to argue with her or give in, but in the end, he decided something entirely different. Fine, I'll leave. Ryan acted faster. She got up with a jerk, stepped forward with the speed of light, grabbed his arm, and pushed him onto the bed. Jungkook gaped at her with wide eyes, shocked and amused by her strength, but soon a look of irritation marred his face. What is wrong with you? He tried to get her, but Ryan placed her right foot on his chest, her heels digging in his skin. His jaw dropped at her audacity. He peered at her, shocked and teeny tiny bit amazed by her actions. Stop gawking at me like an owl. I'll help me remove them. Huh? Heels. Help me remove them. She jutted her chin towards her feet and lifted off her wedding gown. Jungkook's gaze raked along her legs as the fabric slowly uncovered the smooth, shiny skin underneath. The long straps of heels were crisscrossed up to her knee and tied at the back. Jungkook, once annoyed and frustrated by her tactics, decided to play along. He reached out, fingers curling around her ankle, and they trailed their way upwards in a slow pace. He untied the strap teasingly slow, all the while maintaining an eye contact with her. Once one heel was out of her foot and on the floor, she placed another one on his chest, as if she owned that place since forever. You know, people wait days to even have an appointment with me. You have got some nerve to directly step on me, huh? He muttered softly, his hands lingering at her calf longer than necessary. Is it something new for you? You always hated my guts. She pressed her foot on his chest, forcing him to lie back on the mattress. He didn't protest, didn't fight back. Instead, he complied, without a word, as if he were under some spell. I'll be back after changing into something comfortable. Make sure you don't move from here. Jungkook raised an eyebrow. This girl, who was barely half of his weight, was bossing him around with confidence. And what if I don't want to stay here? What would you do? His words made her pause at the doorway of the washroom. He, for sure, knew how to challenge her inner rebel. I'd give you another reason as to why you hated my guts. He laughed. He laughed loudly, shaking his head. He was right. She was actually built different. Her lips twisted into a slow smile. She gazed at him a moment longer before she stepped into the bathroom and shut the door with a soft click. Jungkook stared at the closed door, a whirlwind of thoughts swirling in his mind. He was married to the daughter of his father's best friend, to his rival, to the girl he claimed to hate the most. Ever since childhood, she had been a person who ached him the most, and as if she knew it, she tried her best to get on his nerves, unintentionally but intentionally most of the times. And now she had worked her way into getting him tied to her. When she asked him nicely, he denied. Then she came up with his weakness, his dream project. Only God knew how she managed to get her hands on it when he had been working for it day and night without break. It was a deal: marry her and get the project, or say goodbye to it. After great retrospection, Jungkook's passion won, and here he was, married and already exhausted just after a few hours. But there stood a big elephant in the room yet to be noticed. Why did she decide to marry him? Knowing her, she wouldn't just do that. There was something fishy, something transparent yet to meet the eyes. How would you feel if you were having a peaceful sleep after a long stressful week and some stinky pig decided to ruin it? Angry? Yes, you would probably want to kill that person. That was exactly what I was feeling right now as I watched that punk swaying with music, loud music to be precise. I was fuming with rage. There were pillows tucked under my arms on each side. Oh, how much I wish it were his head so that I could strangle him. I huffed angrily and threw the pillows at him, one after the other. He managed to dodge them both as if he were aware of what I was gonna do. Then he dared to smirk at me. What is your problem, John Jungkook? Who the hell blasts a loudspeaker early in the morning? You are so damn noisy. I spat in a single breath, my frustration palpable. And he stood there, calm and composed, as if he had the patience of the entire world. His unbothered attitude irked me more. Had fun ruining my sleep? You know I was tired after a grand wedding. I know you are an asshole, but it won't cost you anything if you treat me like a human for once. I stated firmly, darting a sharp glare at him, but he was still unaffected. Okay, now I was really pissed, and he was doomed. Say something, will you? I was tired too, but you, wicked witchy witch, didn't let me sleep in peace. You sleep like a horse. My jaw dropped in utter disbelief. Horse? Who? Me? Bullshit. You did not just call me a horse. I sleep like the renowned sleeping beauty. It's your problem that you are blind. Horse my foot. Nobody questions my sleeping habits, not even him. Sleeping Beauty, you kicked me off the bed. My back still hurts. Oh, and not to mention you snore like an annoying tractor. He squinted his eyes, pointing an accusing finger at me. I scoffed, glaring at him. Oh dear Lord, just help me so that I won't lose my patience, or else I'm sending this coconut head back to you. You have got some nerve to accuse me of something so horrible. I do not snore. My words died in my throat when he played a video of me snoring. Well, that was an annoying sound, but I couldn't believe it was me. Not at all. I wasn't a snorer. I don't believe you. You are messing with me. You must have added some sound effects to make it look like I snore. I gave him a look and focused my gaze somewhere else. This thing is not a sound effect. It is noise pollution created by you. Keep denying, but you and I both know the truth. I gasped softly. He didn't just mock me right now. You know what? You are so annoying, and I don't want to waste my precious morning arguing with you. I turned on my heels and rushed towards the bedroom. But Jungkook wasn't ready to let me live in peace. He followed, teasing and mocking me, and if that wasn't enough, he kept on playing that annoying video. Oh, why did he have to record it? I could hear Jungkook's rumble from the living room when I descended the stairs. The wine color bodycon dress hugged me just at the right spots. I was in love with the thigh slit. It added a whole new charisma to the outfit. To get ready, wear a perfect dress, sparkling heels, and to feel pretty. How would I describe this feeling to a man? You can stop murmuring like a broken radio now. I'm ready. I spoke as I walked towards the living room. I expected a sharp reply from him, but all I received was silence. Upon looking up, I found him ogling at me, eyes wide, lips parted, and breath slow. He was mesmerized, a slow smug twist on my lips. Gotcha, Jungkook. I stopped a few inches away from him and snapped my finger in front of his face. He flinched back to reality and instantly looked away. Trying to play it cool, huh? Too bad. I could see the redness on his neck and the tip of his ears. Did I just witness the big businessman ruling over me? I teased, wiggling my eyebrows. He shot a glare at me. That was fun. I wasn't ruling. I was shocked that how can someone spend 2 hours getting ready and still look worse than before? My smile dropped instantly. Could I just kill him already? Yeah, John Jungkook, take your words back. I yelled, chasing him while he just walked outside. Bloody jerk. Jungkook advanced him inside the party venue, forcing a smile at the cameras. If their wedding was grand, this reception party was something else. So many people and a hell lot of chaos. Are you sure this is the correct address? This looks more like a city curfew than a reception party. Ryan whispered, leaning towards Jungkook, a robotic smile on her face. Well, or an unexpected wedding has been the talk of the town. Since two of the most influential families bound together because of us, our families have to show it off, and not to mention they are over the moon. Ryan placed a hand on his chest and looked at him, posing for yet another picture. Aren't you happy? Should I be? He probed, drawing her closer by placing a hand on his waist. Ryan remained silent, staring at him. My jaw hurt from smiling too much. I was tired of saying thank you. My feet were in pain because of standing for too long. The sparkling heels only made me look pretty, but they were a pain in the ass. I glanced at Jungkook standing a few feet away from me. His condition wasn't any better. I could see the visible frustration on his expression. Meeting and greeting so many people wasn't an easy task after all. It appeared we were the main ingredients in the recipe called reception. We were cooked, grilled, and roasted till black. I want to go home, I muttered softly under my breath, quickly pulling off a smile as another guest approached me. This was going to be a long evening. After meeting a few more people, I gave up. I didn't care what others was going to think, but I was gonna leave. Turned my head in Jungkook's direction to ask him to leave, but what I saw made my blood boil. There stood the reason of this whole ordeal. Kim Minji, the daughter of another businessman, the witch who had her eyes on my man. She was going to send a marriage proposal to Jungkook. After coming to know about this, how was I gonna sit silent? I couldn't let her snatch him from me. He was an annoying, egoistic asshole. I hated him. Still, he was mine. I could feel my eyes burning with rage, witnessing them both together. Why the hell was he smiling at her? He never smiled at me like that. Shoo shoo, you witch, go away, leave him alone. Then he dared to chuckle. He fucking laughed with her in front of my eyes. The audacity of this man, I couldn't take it anymore and stormed towards him. I slid my hands around his arm and put on a fake smile. What are you doing, darling? You left me alone there. I missed you a lot for whatever time we were apart. I struggled to hold my laugh, looking at his expression. He looked like he had seen a ghost. I rested my head on his shoulder and looked at Minji, who gave me an awkward smile. Oh, hi, Minji. Thank you for joining us here. Enjoy the party and don't mind me. I just missed my boo-boo. You know the passion of newlyweds. My husband wouldn't let go of me last night and I halted when Jungkook coughed loudly. I pursed my lips to hold back the laughter that was about to break any moment. I wished I could record his reaction. He looked shocked and embarrassed at the same time. Oops, did I share too much? I blinked innocently while Jungkook glared at me. as if I would get scared and shut my mouth in his dreams. Oh, I'll see you around. I gave her a big smile and nodded. When she finally went away, my facade crumpled. I glared at her back and then at Jungkook. What was that, huh? Why did you lie? When did I lie? Didn't you look at me like you wanted to eat me alive? And when I came out of the bathroom, I noticed your predatory gaze. Keep denying, but I saw it all. He stared at me, face devoid of emotions, but I knew I had him just right. He was caught red handed, and now he had nothing to say to cover up. I smelled some jealousy. Now he was trying to change the topic. Well, too bad. I wasn't gonna give in that easily. Jealous of who? Air? I rolled my eyes and walked away from him before he could manage to break through my stance. I saw a ghost of a smirk on his face before leaving. I stood near the drinks section, twirling a glass of whiskey in my hand. I couldn't stop smiling. My wife was a crazy woman. I knew it, but witnessing it was something else. She went so far as to marry me because she was afraid I would say yes to Minji's proposal. How adorable! All of a sudden, I was loving it all, the wedding, the exhaustion, the reception, the guest, everything. I, for sure, was looking like an idiot smiling to myself. The looks from the some people said it all, but did I care? No. Ever since childhood, I had my eyes only one woman. Knowing she felt the same, my heart was doing Zumba inside. I took a sip of the whiskey and looked around. Even this bitter liquid tasted as sweet as honey. Now I needed my honey. Where was she? Where had she disappeared, leaving me alone? My lips parted in a big smile when I saw her on the dance floor, but my happiness didn't last long when I noticed the other person with her. I scored, seeing her cousin dancing with her. Jaehyun, that chicken, I didn't like him at all. He was around her all the time, during school, college, and now he even works in her company. Clingy leech wouldn't leave my woman alone. I hated how she always talked and laughed freely around him, but it wasn't the same case with me. She called him her best friend. Why? What what was the thing I lacked? Why wasn't I her best friend? Finally got your dream man, huh? He teased while Vine glared at him. Dream man, he's a nightmare, always grumpy. He didn't even smile at me, not even once. Am I that bad, Jaehyun? Jaehyun rolled his eyes at her dramatics. Well, sorry for my words, but did you ever stop being a bitch to him? What do you expect him to do when you always pick fights with him? Did you ever try being sweet with him? Fine, you can't cry for mangoes when you sow seeds for cactus. Huh? Where did mangoes and cactus came into the picture? I'm not a gardener. Jaeyoung shook his head, heaving an exhausted sigh. Never mind, you. Your man is coming towards us, he whispered, looking at Jungkook over her shoulders. Why tried to look back, but Jaehyun held her in place. What? Let me see. Before she could even turn, a hand wrapped around her stomach and pulled her back. Her hand slid from Jaehyun's shoulders as her back collided with Jungkook's chiseled chest. Having fun without me, wifey, he buried his face in the crook of her neck. She froze in a spot at the sudden closeness. Her stomach flipped in anticipation. She gasped softly when he trailed his nose along her neck and up to her ear. Shall we leave? I have planned a lot for tonight. She couldn't say a word when he parted away slightly, just enough to hold her hand and dragged her away from the dance floor. Jaehyun winked at her teasingly, showing thumbs up. Ryan followed him silently as he pierced through the crowd, ignoring whoever tried to talk to him. She forced a smile at everyone, but inside there was a whole zoo of animals doing salsa. It was raining when Jungkook stepped out of the venue, dragging her along. The cold, crisp air brushed past her bare skin, making her shiver. The rain soaked them almost immediately. Vian, who was silent till now, finally found her voice again and spoke. Where are you going? I want to stay and enjoy the party. I want to eat delicious food and I want to dance with Jaehyun. As those words left her lips, she was pushed against a nearby wall. Jungkook's eyes, sharp and intense, bored through her soul. He placed his palms on either side of her head, trapping her between wall and himself. Why? You were enjoying a little too much with that chicken, he whispered, leaning dangerously close to her face. So close that took her breath away. Yeah, he is my best friend. Her words died in her throat when he snaked an arm around her waist and yanked her towards himself. Her friend collided with his so that she could feel all the contours of his body. Say that again? Though his voice was soft, the challenge in it wasn't hidden. One inhaled sharply, barely holding herself from melting into his arms. He is my. Her words got cut off when Jungkook's lips pressed against hers. Soft and firm, her body went numb. If she wasn't already breathless, this move of his knocked the remaining air out of her lungs. For a moment, neither of them moved. They stood there, soaking under the rain with their lips glued together. Then, Jungkook moved. He brought his other free hand to the back of her head and slowly moved his lips against hers. Meanwhile, Vian stood stiff like a statue. She wondered where to focus, to their closeness, to the hard ridges of his body that she could feel, or to the slow movement of his lips. After waiting and giving her time, when Vian didn't reciprocate, he pulled back. His eyes shone with guilt. His nicely combed hair now stuck to his forehead. His soft body fit perfectly with Vian's. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kissed you without your consent. I'm so sorry. His voice trembled as he looked down and took a step back. But Vian grabbed his tie and yanked him down. She smashed her lips to his. Jungkook's heart skipped a beat. For a moment he struggled to process the reality, but then he closed his eyes and gave in. The kiss started slow, careful at first, but soon it turned passionate, sloppy, and messy. Vian's hands found their way around his shoulders and trailed upwards to his hair, while Jungkook's one hand remained firm on her waist, while his other hand traveled downward to the thigh slit. His fingers brushed against the bare skin of her thigh before he grabbed it and wrapped it around its torso. She wrapped her other leg around him as well, letting him hold her against the wall. A shiver ran down her spine. She wondered if it was because of the rain or because of his mind-boggling kiss. She wondered what made her head spin. Was it his hand lingering at the right spots or his tongue lapping against her own? Their bodies were completely wet and cold. They were struggling to breathe, but none of them were ready to let go. The bloody oxygen had to ruin it for them. Jungkook groaned as the need for air overpowered his desire. He parted away reluctantly and inhaled a deep breath. Vian panted heavily, dropping her head on his shoulder. He pressed his lips to her bare shoulder and then to the arch of her neck. She gasped softly against his ear, her grip tightening on his shoulder. His touch has ignited a spark inside her. I always wanted to do this. All the years of waiting are worth it. He whispered in her ear, her lips brushing teasingly against the shell of her ear. Vian slowly pulled back to meet his eyes. He grinned, looking at her flushed face. His fingers lifted on their own, brushing her damp hair away from her face. You managed to get your hands on the project overnight but couldn't confess to me, huh? If only you had told me you were scared to lose me, I would have run into your arms the next moment. I can say the same to you. You could threaten Jaehyun behind my back, but you don't have the balls to confess to me. Jungkook chuckled and pressed his forehead against hers. Guess we both are crazy. She nodded, her lips curved into a smile. Her hands reached out to gaze his cheek. Jungkook instinctively leaned against her touch. I'm cold, she whispered after a long moment of silence, her teeth clattering. She loosened her grip slightly when he removed his suit jacket and wrapped it around her. Let's go home. She nuzzled in his arms as she carried her towards his car. The smile on their lips remained intact and their hearts in peace.